Mm-hmm.
Kyrie.
Yeah. Well, Kyrie.
Oh.
We'll go
Kyrie.
back to the Grady cast. Talk about all things Grady future and Grady past.
Grady raps.
Yeah.
Been a long time since there's been Grady raps in the walls of this house.
Kyrie.
Welcome back to Throwing from the One.
Kyrie.
AKA the Grady Podcast, AKA Dana White's Dirty Draws Show.
Kyrie.
Dude, there's been more aliases. It bugs me almost every episode. Episode 27, did I say that? Doesn't matter. We're here on a lovely Wednesday, January the 9th.
Don't tell them.
We are coming to you from a mystery time and location somewhere in between Wildcard weekend and the divisional round of the 2018-19 NFL season.
In the Milky Way.
And yeah, we believe we're somewhere in the Milky Way galaxy. Yeah, the big news this week is NFL playoffs. The college football championship happened, and it was different from what we thought, but it doesn't matter.
They are who we thought they were, Walk.
They are not who I thought they were. Yeah, I mean, main things for us this week are going to be the Chargers-Patriots game coming up here in the divisional round, and the end of the Seahawks season, as well as kind of recapping the rest of what was really I don't know. I feel like I'm not overstating it to say a great weekend of playoff football. All the games were good.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
Texans,
if not,
Colts wasn't great.
True, that was a bit of a snoozer.
Chargers, Ravens wasn't great.
Well, you're right. And the Texans Colts game is, I'll say, ahead of all this stuff, which also we're going to get into that in the second half, and we're going to clear the board, all the other stuff right here in the beginning. I will say, though, that Colts-Texans game is the one that I really didn't pay attention to over the weekend, so that sort of skews my opinion. But the thing to me, one more thing before we get into the NBA college football stuff, all that, I complained about the sloppy offensive football that we've had this year, high scoring, more college football style play, and then almost everybody showed up over Wild Card weekend and, knocked heads, played tactical, professional possession football, good defensive, physical games. I'm back, dude. I love the NFL again, just like that.
Till the Patriots lose this weekend.
Oh, dude, I know. That's what I was saying. This one's not going to be as much fun. Oh, Zoe just blocked that into JaVale McGee's face hard.
This ain't no Texans minus a quarterback.
We're watching the Lakers also, by the way, which is pretty crucial. They're a pretty crucial part of this show's focus, I would say, this season for the memes. Yeah, dude, let's get actually into it. Do you want to start with college football or NBA update?
Probably start with basketball, I guess.
I think we should do the college. Let's go upside down order and go least important first and start with college football.
Ooh.
No, that's more important. There's really not that much, I don't think, in the NBA. The Celtics continue to tread water in the East, which I will say, Jeremy, that the East is, at this point, I think you can actually say the top of the East is pretty strong.
The Bucks lost to the Rockets, or the Bucks beat the Rockets tonight.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, so that's what I was going to say. The Celtics are on a 4-game win streak. They're 7-3 in their last 10. They're still the 5 seed. And I mean, the Pacers and the Sixers are tied a game and a half ahead of them now, so there's room to move around for all these teams at this point. Still, the Celtics are 5 back from Toronto, so the 1 seed is questionable halfway through, especially because I don't foresee any of the Raptors, Bucks, Pacers, or Sixers collapsing in the second half.
Jimmy Butler gonna wreak chaos.
I still don't know how much that changes that team. But I will say that I watched the Pacers-Celtics game tonight. So all these teams, the Raptors, Pacers, Sixers, and Celtics are all 7-3, and the Bucks are 8-2. So everybody's playing well at the top of the East. The Celtics are not gaining anything. They're treading water, but I'd rather they tread water with good play than mediocre play. And I mean, stuff is starting to go right for them. Not necessarily every night, but They played a pretty dominant effort tonight against the Pacers, albeit without Miles Turner, who, I mean, even on the Celtics broadcast, they were talking about what Miles Turner means defensively to the Pacers, and the Celtics scored a billion points. I mean, Jason Tatum scored
Dude in a Chargers uniform.
Who is?
There was a guy in the stands in a Chargers hoodie and hat.
Maybe the Chargers do have fans in L.A.
One of 6.
They fill up the 30,000 seats.
No, they don't. It's mostly opposing fans.
Well, there's 30,000 football fans in L.A. Yeah. Anyway, I don't have that much to say about the Celtics right now. I am encouraged by.
There he is, Walk. Chargers man.
It's not a Chargers. I mean, he's wearing Chargers gear for sure. Anyway, I want to finish this stuff up, dude. We actually have a lot to get to. Tatum and Brown have been playing a little bit better again, not totally consistently, but I think it was Brian Scalabrine on the Celtics broadcast tonight, which, by the way, I didn't even realize that he was doing their TV calls.
I didn't realize he was at the NBA. Wow.
Well, he sure is, and he's doing the TV calls, and he was actually pretty good. He was pretty informative. I mean, team broadcaster, but pretty informative. Jaylen Brown had 0 20-point games in the team's first 11, and then he has 6 in their next 19. So he's not the worst player in the NBA right now.
There's been 40 games.
I don't remember it might have been their first 16. Maybe it was 16. I don't remember okay, Jeremy, whatever. I don't remember what the actual stat was.
Fudging the numbers.
Oh my God. The point is, through the first half of the first quarter of this season, we're just past the halfway mark now. Jaylen Brown had 0 20-point games.
McGee high five no one.
Jackie McMullen is calling him one of the worst NBA players in the league.
Ouch.
Which we talked about.
Jackie. Jackie doesn't know what she's talking about.
She knows, dude. No, she does know.
She's not one of the worst players in the league.
She didn't even say, we talked about this, she didn't even say he was one of the worst players in the league, but he was playing like it at the time. Dude, he was terrible in the beginning of the year. He wasn't scoring. There's a lack of focus defensively. And I mean, his athleticism and his body and everything, all that is wasted when he's going to be passive and play on the perimeter the whole game, which I forget where I hear this comparison now. I don't even want to make it because it's so apt, and I don't remember who said it. But there's a very scary player comp to him, for Jaylen Brown. But anyway, those guys playing better is encouraging. Kyrie is mega wet.
Still hates Thanksgiving.
Still really weird. Still talks way too much. Well, he doesn't talk too much. He just says way too many words when he does talk. Conciseness, Kyrie.
Less words good.
Yes, less words good. More words bad. Now Kyrie talk better.
Ooh.
Yeah. So the last thing we're going to get to in the NBA today is midseason MVP picks, which I don't honestly have that much to say about, and I feel like we're just going to agree. But the one thing I do want to say the other day, Klay Thompson, 43 points on 4 dribbles.
Yesterday.
Was it yesterday?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought it was 2 days ago. That's unbelievable, Jeremy.
Yeah.
That's how many threes did he hit? Do you know?
I don't know. Probably a lot.
I mean, I'm going to bring it up. It's probably not really worth getting that far into. It's just it's one of my favorite NBA stats. That's crazy. 4 dribbles, Jeremy. Do you realize Kyrie can dribble 4 times in a second in some possessions?
Yeah.
And Klay goes 43 points a whole game with 4 dribbles.
That's pretty crazy.
Which, I mean, it's, a ridiculous. The Kyrie comp is for my argument's sake, and it's an exaggeration, but how do you even only dribble 4 times in a game playing that? That's what I said earlier to Diana and Wong. It's catch, score every time.
Spot up.
And then there's 4 times in the game where you had to take 1 dribble so you don't travel, and then you score. But it's every time you catch it, you just score.
Exactly. That's how the Warriors play basketball, Walk.
Well, yeah, and I mean, you can't really do something like that unless you play on a good team, great team, probably, honestly, because that's ridiculous. But game logs, this is taking way too long. All right, we're gonna have to move on. Look, yeah, I don't know. It doesn't really matter what the stats were. I just want to call that to whoever's attention. I think it's worth mentioning. It's crazy. It's a crazy game, and it makes the Warriors, I guess not makes, but they're still the bet. Like, they're the lock favorite. I don't get why, like, just because they're having some off times in the regular season, they're ridiculous.
Gotta make some drama, Walk.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. We do. I mean, we need something to talk about. Mid-season MVP in the NBA.
James Harden.
Yeah, I mean, right now it's got to be Harden. He's how many straight games with 30 points or 35 points or whatever
like
it is?
7 or 8.
Yeah. Oh, I think it's more than that now. That I will look up. To me, like, and I'll be honest, I haven't paid that much attention to the whole league this year. I've been really trying to follow the Celtics, watching as much as I can. I've been putting it on, but I haven't been reading any NBA analysis. I haven't really been watching SportsCenter and stuff recently, so I don't know who has the best dunks this season. Giannis. That's what I was going to say. But from the outside, sort of looking in on the whole discussion, it seems like Harden, Giannis, and no one else right now in the discussion.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know what Anthony Davis is doing, but he's going to be in the discussion until he wins one. And yeah, LeBron. ESPN says James Harden's dominance is unprecedented.
Yeah.
And undeniable. I mean, I guess he is setting records with the scoring. Yeah, I mean, he's averaging 33, 6 rebounds, and 9 assists right now. So
it's pretty wet.
That's the MVP, most likely. I'm not going to look at Giannis because game logs. That's what we need. I'm not going to look at Giannis because I'm with you. I think you just can't. This is how the MVP works in the NBA. It's just the guy who has the wettest stretch of the season usually is going to end up winning it and generates the most hype.
Yeah.
I mean, not necessarily the wettest stretch of the season, but whoever, it's just, you need the NBA MVP is an eye popper award.
The Bucks aren't on TV enough.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Right, exactly. You're right. It's not about a stretch of the season. It's just about who it's a sexiness award, really. James Harden is a sexy pick this year. No, it's not even that. That's not the right word. It's more of like never mind. I was going to say something dumb. He has scored, I mean, yeah, this is ridiculous. It's been starting with, okay, so we'll do under 30. Starting 12 games ago, he had a 50-point game. And really, the game before was 29, but then he had a 50-point game and goes on a 12-game run, including 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 40-point games, 8, 9 games over 38. So he's 12 games straight over 30 points, 9 of which he scored over 38. That's ridiculous. I mean, if he keeps anything close to that going for 15 more games, then he's almost a lock.
Yeah, well, Chris Paul has to come back eventually.
That's whack. Yeah. I suppose that's true. Yeah, I mean, you got any other NBA thoughts for today, Jeremy?
No, not that we didn't really talk about last week.
Yeah, I don't feel like, it's the mid-season where everyone's settled in, but we're not to the All-Star break yet. It's, not the doldrums of the NBA season, but I don't feel like there's that much movement going on in the league right now. No trades, no news. Did we talk about Thibodeau?
No.
So that's news, I guess. And we've talked about him on the podcast before, that's for sure. But also, who cares, dude?
Yeah.
Like, I don't even want to talk about the T-Wolves. I can't bring myself to. Tom Thibodeau treats his players badly. He runs them way too hard. He's never won anything. Bye.
Ouch.
That's all I got on Tom Thibodeau.
He won an MVP.
Tom Thibodeau?
He won Derrick Rose an MVP.
He didn't win Derrick Rose an MVP. Come on. Okay. The last thing before we get to the big bad NFL extravaganza
Boo, 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 boo.
is the college football the FBS national championship.
An FCS team could technically make it.
Is it the college football national championship? NCAA national championship game? Is that what they call it? Or they call it the college football playoff champion? What?
I don't know.
You're
Doesn't matter.
You're the college football eye on the streets, dude. So what happened in the game, Jeremy? Bama got whacked. That's not what I thought was going to happen.
Yeah, Bama couldn't move the ball after the first quarter. And Clemson took advantage of their opportunities and just owned the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball.
So what's the deal with Pocahontas Peyton Manning? Is he the real deal?
I mean, he's not. He didn't play as well as
Rapunzel Peyton Manning.
His 350 and 3.
Rapatenzel Manning.
But I mean, yeah, the kid's legit. I mean, he's everything you want in a quarterback. He's got an arm. He seems smart enough. He's 6'3".
Isn't he 19 years old?
Yeah, and he's a freshman.
He's only 19.
He's only 19.
So,
He might only be 18.
Yeah, I mean, I actually think that might be true. I was gonna say that, but I don't really know anything about him besides.
Nah, it's really all about their receiver though, Justin Ross. That dude, that guy can play. You said you didn't really watch the game, but one of
I didn't really watch
Clemson's freshman receiver, Justin Ross, just balled out, making catch after catch.
So they have freshman quarterback and freshman receiver, who are both big time ballers.
Yeah.
So
Triple Bs.
through 2021, they're going to be triple B'd up.
Through 2020.
Through 2020 until 2021.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Triple Bs.
Triple Bs, they're the mans. So an interesting thing that comes out of that is I think off the show.
Bama done?
Well, so that is no. They're not done. They're
done.
Don't calm down, dude. They still have the nicest
0-12.
program and no. They're gonna be
Little
right.
old Clemson.
They're gonna be right back there next year. But what my question is do you actually think Clemson has a case at this point to build themselves against Bama as the greatest college football team of this century, I guess?
Well, they've split 2 out of their last 4.
How many natty champions has Saban won this century? 4, right?
I think it's more than that. How many?
I'm gonna look it up.
How many titles has LeBron won? 4? 3?
3, I think. Well, no, he won 3 with the Heat and 1 in Cleveland, right? 4.
No, he won 2 with the Heat.
2 with the Heat, 1 in Cleveland, so 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Saban's won 4.
So 4 versus Clemson's. Well, they only have 2, right?
I know they've won back-to-back twice.
And Clemson only has 2, right?
Yeah, but 2 of the last 4.
Yeah, but that's not. Bama sustained it. I thought there was more of an argument. You made it sound like there was more of an argument.
They've won half of the last 4 national championships.
Okay, so yeah, of this decade, probably greatest team of this decade.
Well, you can't. Clemson wasn't Clemson until they hired Dabo, which I think was 2012, and then they went.
Although actually no, because
they hired Dabo in 2012, and then they went and they won the Sugar Bowl against LSU, I think, that year, and then ever since they've rattled off 4 straight playoff appearances and two national championships out of the last 3.
Bama has 5 since 2009.
5 titles.
Yeah, since 2009. That's the greatest team of both this decade and this century. 5 titles in D1 is hardcore, bro.
I guess I wouldn't argue that, but I mean, if you're looking
Clemson might
into
be
the
coming.
shorter scope,
Clemson might be coming because if
well, Clemson has came. Can't say they haven't came when they've won 2 out of the last 4 national championships.
So Clemson is currently coming.
It's friend of the podcast, Ian Lindstedt.
Whoa. Bye, guys.
Bye, friend of the
Bye, dude.
podcast, Ian Lindstedt.
Bye, podcast.
Bye, Ian. Yeah, I mean, my thing is just Clemson has came, but I still think they're in the process of coming. If they, I can't. If they keep the 18, 19-year-old kids together and they have, assuming other talent, which they will, they're building it obviously. They could win a couple more, at which point they have an argument. But right now, it's just like Bama has just been so good for so long now. I mean, it's been since Saban went back. Which did they win the first one in 2009 in his first season back? Yeah.
No, not his first season.
National championship seasons. That's what that is.
I think he coached to the Dolphins in 2007.
Yeah. So Bama. Yeah. So 2006 was his last year with the Dolphins. So it's been 12 seasons of Saban, or 11, I guess, really. And they've been, how many years have they not been in the top 3 basically the whole season?
Oh, none of them.
Yeah, it's like they're down years. It's just, I don't know.
But Clemson hasn't
excellent.
been not in the top 3 any of the last 4 years.
Yeah, but 4 years isn't 9 years. 11 years, I mean.
It isn't, but it's
almost only a third of that.
It's more than something.
No, I'm with you. I'm saying they have a chance, but right now it's Bama. It's got to be Bama.
Next year you're saying
this is because you're a Patriots hater.
You think Bama has a better
You just hate
chance to win the
excellence.
national championship next year?
You hate sustained excellence.
Do you think Bama has a better chance to win the national championship next year?
Than Clemson?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, me neither.
I'm not talking about who's better right now, though. That's what I'm saying. You just can't argue with the
Well, I
sustained
think
excellence
Clemson
of
is
Bama.
better next year, and I think Clemson's better the year after.
Okay,
that.
so that's what I'm saying. If Bama wins, if Clemson wins 2 more national,
but then that's 3 years in a row of Clemson being better, and then.
yeah, but how many years
is
in a row?
enough
But Bama was better for 9 years in a row.
Yeah, but that's enough for the half-step leapfrog to take place. 3 years in a row. That's a whole high
It's more than a
school's
half-step
worth of
leapfrog
kids.
right now.
A half-step?
It's more than a half step. They're not a half step behind. They're at least a whole step behind Bama.
I don't know about that.
They're a whole like.
Then why are they beating them by 28
We're not
points?
talking about how good the teams are. We're talking. How many know? I'm keep saying we're talking about their legacy and who they're. Just Bama is a much more historic dynasty right now. The Nick Saban Bama teams will be remembered as greater than the Dabo Sweeney Clemson teams. Again, if Sweeney wins a couple more with what's his name, Trevor Riley Lawrence, what is it?
Yeah, Trevor Lawrence.
Trevor Lawrence. If Sweeney wins a couple more, then yeah, we can talk. But as it stands, I don't think there's an argument. To me, that's a full step behind. Again, not right now. Yes, next year, Clemson. I mean, I'm not going to say likely better, but has probably the odds-on chance to be better. They've got this quarterback kid. That's the big thing to me. What's I don't even care. What's Tua's situation? I don't care.
He's a sophomore. So
Yeah.
he has 1 to 2 years left.
That's already too long on. I thought we were gonna barely talk about this.
No. We need to dive further into it.
All right. Well, I already don't know anymore. I'm on Wikipedia as we speak.
Trash. Well, one of the things Clemson has had going for them over Alabama is Alabama turns over every coaching position besides Nick
Saban coached
Saban
under
every
Buddy
year.
Ryan.
Where?
For the Oilers. As a DB coach.
But, yeah, Alabama turns over
I lied. Why did I think Buddy Ryan? Bum Phillips is who I was thinking of. Why did I think Buddy... Whatever. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Alabama turns over all their OCs and all their position coaches every year. And Clemson has not done that, which was apparently particularly cited by... So Justin Ross, the wide receiver for Clemson who killed it, is the second of the last 15 top recruits from the state of Alabama to not go to Alabama. Him and Jameis Winston are the last two top Alabama state recruits who haven't gone to Alabama.
It's pretty crazy.
And the reason Justin Ross cited choosing Clemson over Alabama was because there's such high turnover within the Alabama coaching staff. He didn't, count. He couldn't count on anyone to be there.
Yeah, that's fair. No, that's totally fair. I mean, that just sounds like a smart kid to me, though, honestly, because I think Bama still, they're going to continue killing it in recruiting. They have dope facilities. Saban knows what he's doing, whispering sweet nothings in those kids' ears. And can we stop, dude? I don't want to talk about college.
Also,
look, Jeremy, this is how far
the SEC went 500 in bowl games this year.
That's how far we are.
The SEC went 500 in bowl games.
That's how far down the topics list we are right now. 30 minutes in.
Yeah. Well, the SEC. This is an important topic.
That's the topics list.
The SEC went 6-6 and lost their two biggest bowl games.
We're right here. Right there. So comment on the YouTube if you want to hear about more college football.
Georgia and Alabama both lost the SEC's two biggest bowl games of this year. I think that's...
SEC's dominance is over.
Exactly.
Okay.
Conclusion, case in point.
That could be the name of this episode. The SEC is done.
SEC stands for super extra cockamamie.
That's barely even a word anymore. But
cockamamie.
I'm glad you said it over other things I thought you were maybe going to come up with.
Centrifugal force.
Yeah.
Cows. Cowabunga.
What's your favorite coaching hire?
NFL.
In the NFL so far?
I haven't loved any of them, honestly.
Me neither. But I like Arians.
Yeah, Arians, actually.
So, setting the table on this, NFL coaching hires so far, the Browns promoting their offensive coordinator, Freddie Kitchens.
I liked Greg Williams.
Who Baker Mayfield thinks is an idiot.
Confirmed.
The Broncos are bringing in Bears defensive coordinator Vic Fangio after one good season. Adam Gase is getting hired by the Jets, which is patently stupid, obviously, to everyone listening. The Cardinals, is Kingsbury a promotion?
He was the OC at USC.
Okay, that's stupid. The Cardinals are hiring a USC OC named Cliff.
And he was Texas Tech head coach 4 years, the 4 years before that.
So some guy named Cliff, the Cardinals are hiring. The Bucks are bringing in Bruce Arians, which that's the most interesting. Well, maybe not the most interesting. I think the best hire, and last and possibly least, the Packers hiring Matt LaFleur, former Titans OC. So why do you hire the offensive coordinator of a team that throws 8 touchdown passes in a season as the coach of Aaron Rodgers?
Because Aaron Rodgers does it on his own. And you just
need... Green Bay!
No, you just need the defense.
Do you want to win anymore with your...
No, you just need the defense to not suck. And you let Aaron Rodgers be the OC.
So why would you hire an offensive coordinator? You have 3 OCs now. I mean, Rodgers is the head coach realistically, so they've hired a
GM,
second
head
OC.
coach, president, CEO, mayor of Green Bay,
Jeremy,
governor of the state.
it's fine if
of
they want to.
Wisconsin.
It's fine if they want to hire the Titans' defensive coordinator. By the way, I think it's Dean Pease, who is the former Patriots DC under Belichick, who also was a head coach at Notre Dame, so he has head coaching experience. That makes a million times more sense for the Packers than Matt LaFleur. Which I'm sorry to make fun of that, but I mean, the thing to make fun of is the Titans passing stats, and then this team with Rodgers. With Rodgers, by the way, at what is he, 32?
He's older than that.
30. Oh yeah, I
He's
don't.
like 34.
So Rodgers nearing the end of his prime, if not the end of his career, and maybe every great quarterback is going to play to 45 now.
He got drafted in 07, and Russell just turned 30. So he's 34, 35.
Yeah, that makes sense. No, that makes sense for sure. And I mean, and I forget that he sat. It feels like he's been in the league for shorter than he has because he sat. Anyway, my point is, the guy is at least on the downslope of his career, and you are gonna waste even a season with this. And the way the Packers operate, they're gonna ride out the end of Rodgers' career with this guy, no matter what happens.
I don't know about that.
No, probably not. But I mean, it doesn't make any sense to me from any perspective. If you want to get an offensive guy, there's no way they couldn't find a better offensive mind than this guy.
Bruce Arians.
Like Arians doesn't want.
But he said he didn't want to coach the Packers.
I was gonna say Arians might be a weather guy, honestly.
He said Tampa and Cleveland were the two jobs Arians was interested in.
So the Cleveland job is maybe the most attractive job to me. I don't know about the Freddie Kitchens one. I put asterisk next to stuff that I thought were dumb, and then there's a question mark next to Freddie Kitchens. Because was he the reason why their offense turned it around, or did they just have talent the whole time and they finally started clicking?
I think he was the OC the whole season, but then when Greg Williams, the former DC and defensive-minded head coach, took over
/ bounty payer, man.
I think Greg Williams gave him more control of the offense. The last 7 weeks of the season.
So why didn't they hire Greg Williams?
Well, because they thought it was Freddie Kitchens who did the work. Greg Williams just got out of the way and was more prepared to run the team at the time, mid-season.
Is he going to be the DC next year, though?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We'll see. I don't know. That one's weird to me. I'm not sure how that one's going to go. And that's another one where I feel like you got to maximize your situation right now. And with the Browns,
that's
like
all upside, bro. That's the job everyone wanted. You can go 8-8 and people will be like, meh. And if you go like 12-4 and make the divisional round, people will want to give you like a 5-year extension.
So that's my thing. It's the same as the Packers job. Well, it's more than the Packers job. It's the most attractive job in the league right now, honestly. Yeah. So like, theoretically speaking, you should be able to get any candidate that's out there. I mean, I think they would have had a chance at McDaniels. He was interested in the Packers. Josh McDaniels, we haven't mentioned yet. Josh McDaniels is quoted this week saying on a conference call, the book is closed on coaching interviews for him this year. He's not talking to anybody else. The Packers job's gone. He's done. So McDaniels isn't leaving. Probably partly his candidacy this year stained by the last year bailing on the But I mean, he was
revenge for the Colts.
No, I mean, but it's like it's not a good look. Borderline. I mean, baseline. Is that the Succulent Cam vibrating, dude?
It sounded like
Succulent Cam shouldn't be vibrating right now. Dang it. I have to think Josh McDaniels would have been in on that Browns job, especially if he wanted Baker Mayfield, which I like that rumor that he wanted Baker Mayfield. I think they could have had anyone. There must be someone better than Freddie Kitchens. I don't know. Maybe not. There's definitely the Adam Gase thing is hilarious.
Yeah, that's kind of odd.
What are the Jets like? They don't know. The Jets don't know that Adam Gase is worse than Bowles. I would say significantly.
Well, they're different.
He's a better offensive mind, but Bowles is more seems like a more capable head coach to me. Like has a better grasp on an actual managing a team.
Yeah, well, I look down on Adam Gase primarily because he couldn't figure out over the course of multiple seasons that they should probably give Kenyon Drake the ball.
Dude, I
more
mean,
than 12
there's a
touches
lot.
game.
There's a lot of stuff. I mean, his offense basically after
Devontae Parker being like a healthy scratch every other week.
After his first couple seasons, his offense has never produced, and that's the only thing he has going for him. Then he has these, consistently undisciplined, somewhat dumb teams on the field.
6-10,
and
7-9,
and they're
that's the Dolphin way walk.
Also consistently failing to make things easy enough for Tannehill, who is not a legit quarterback. Yeah, he needs to be a gimmick guy, which Gase should be able to do. And I mean, to me, that's another one where you have a young quarterback, you bring in Adam Gase, it's making it less and less likely that Darnold's going to succeed.
I don't know. I think he's more.
Am I getting called on the Succulent Cam? I put you on Do Not Disturb. Literally just for this.
I think.
Is that a call or is it just?
It sounds like a call.
Oh my God.
I mean, I don't know. I don't love the hiring, but it is what it is. I think I really don't like the head coaching pool this year.
Isn't that kind of every year though? That's the problem. It's
no.
Who have you? I mean, I don't know. I'm not into.
Sean McVay was promising. I thought Matt Nagy was fairly promising. I would have liked Josh McDaniels.
I just think it's hard to tell. Like very hard to tell with guys who have never had a head coaching job. I mean, Gase was promising, or that's what everybody said. I don't, I can't realistically weigh in on this type of stuff more than looking at the resumes and calling people dumb.
I don't know. The Jets are the Jets, but he also did have to deal with the Dolphins, who are the Dolphins. So
the Jets are as dysfunctional as the Dolphins. I just think it's just to me it's a kind of a lateral move to me. It's like Gase. There's no way Gase is getting you past the Patriots, and I don't think he's going to develop your team either.
Patriots are going to suck next year, walk.
No, dude, there's just...
Tom Brady's could throw 15 touchdowns.
I don't see the upside.
Interceptions.
I don't see the upside with Gase, especially with a young quarterback. You got anything else on coaches?
Mike McCarthy pulled his name out of the ring for any jobs next season.
I mean, I saw that, but he's not, maybe a good call for him if he wants another head coaching gig because he wasn't going to get one this offseason. I question whether he'll get one next offseason.
He'll definitely get one. But I don't...
He's probably going to have to take... He's going to be the next Cardinals head coach, though, or something. He's going to take one of these garbage turnstile jobs.
I don't think...
Dude, his rep is... He is not a good coach, and the NFL knows it at this point.
I don't think he's going to go to, because someone the Cardinals are going to be looking for Cliff Kingsbury, someone exciting.
I think he's borderline. I almost wouldn't hire him as a coordinator for me. Ooh. I mean, he did his offense. He ran the exact same offense in Green Bay for a decade after people started stopping it. Not quite, but I mean, it was a solid 3 to 5 years after people started realizing, oh, the offenses let Rodgers wander around until a bomb happens. And then they kept running that offense. Rodgers kept getting banged up. They kept not being good enough. It's like you got to make a change at some point if it's not good enough. And
they did?
And yes, the Packers did. McCarthy didn't. We're right around 40 minutes, though. I want to take a break. I want to check on the Succulent Cam. I want to check on all the
dead, walk.
Cams. No, it's not dead.
It's dead.
We'll be right back. And we're back. That was loud. That was a long break for us.
No, it wasn't.
It was.
That was 6 minutes.
This is actually quite a long podcast. What time did you get here?
4.
Yeah, it's taken us about 6 hours to produce
I
a.
didn't get here at 4. I got here at like 6.
True, it was 6:30. Still, 3.5 hours to produce. So far, 40 minutes of podcast.
Nice. That's a good ratio.
It's not very efficient.
Is that all we are? Walk is a podcast to you.
No, you're right. I appreciate the time in between and before. Mostly before.
Why before? Not in between.
The in between time is nice. There's just less of it. We actually just took 10 minutes and got a nice restroom break in and all that good stuff. Usually we just, it's like pause the cameras, maybe somebody goes pee, and then we go again. I do appreciate our in between time.
Good.
Get these Blazers off of television.
Oh, look, it is Ian.
Friend of the podcast, Ian returns.
Oh, damn it. We don't.
What are your thoughts on the Lakers, friend of the podcast, Ian?
The Lakers.
LeBron plays for him.
Yeah. Good old Bron.
He does.
Comment?
No comment. All right. Well, I can't really argue with that. No matter how hard I tried.
Do you think the Seahawks should re-sign Justin Coleman, friend of the podcast, Ian?
I did not know he played for us.
Good.
We do. I just realized we could set up the old Succulent Cam as a who's entering the room cam, just as the security cam now. Oh yeah, we can have the Succulent Cam and the security cam.
Just have it outside at the door.
We could put it on the porch. Well, the Succulent Cam has been upgraded.
We have iPhone 1, iPad, and iPhone 2.
Whoa, the whole ecosystem.
This podcast brought to you by Apple.
Upgrade your iCloud storage, Walker.
Not an Apple computer, despite it might look like one. I'm not going to upgrade my iCloud storage until Apple sponsors this podcast.
Walker.
Sponsor us, Apple.
You should get free iCloud.
Yeah.
$1 a month.
If they sponsor us for $1 a month, I'll buy an iCloud upgrade, and we can not potentially lose whatever we record on my phone every week. Yeah, playoff football from here on out, Jeremy.
Elmo.
Yep, it's all playoff football, whether you like it or not. We've got
I don't like it.
4 games to talk about from last week. We've
Thumbs
got
down.
4 games to talk about this week.
Thumbs up.
We've got the Seahawks game last week.
Thumbs down.
We've got the Patriots game this week.
Thumbs down.
That's 3 thumbs downs and 1 thumbs up. So you don't have a choice, though. I don't know. Do you want to start or end with the Seahawks on Wildcard weekend?
Let's get it over with.
Let's get it over with. That's the order I wrote it in. So the Seahawks fall to the Cowboys on Wildcard weekend.
Thumbs down.
Do you have the final off the top of your head?
24-22.
24-22. Obviously, the end of their season, which, I mean, thumbs down, but Jeremy, I would say a resounding success of a season for them.
Yeah, it was
Like,
still a 9.5 out of 10.
If they went one more round, then you would have had to be thrilled as a fan base. But, you know, it was a good season. They show you that they still have a lot of life as a team. There is a future as, you know, not the Legion of Boom defense team. Yeah, that was sick. Who threw that pass?
Giannis, it looked like.
The MVP on MVP violence. Giannis domed James Harden tonight. So we've got MVP beef in the NBA. And Harden is talking about it now, judging by my lip reading. He said, Giannis didn't apologize to me. I'm the true MVP.
Quote. It was definitely Giannis, confirmed.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Jeremy, you can't feel bad about the Seahawks season. I don't really think you can feel bad about that loss. I mean, there's some second guessing to be done, which we can get to for sure. And we can argue about, you know what, we should get to it. I think the offensive play calling is the question. And there was calls to fire what's his face?
Schottenheimer?
Yeah, is it Brian?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right, some people were talking about that, which you think is an overreaction. I tend to agree.
A huge overreaction.
I
We
tend
had
to
the
agree.
number 1 rushing offense in the league this year, and we had the second most explosive pass plays on the least passing attempts. That's exactly what you want.
Well,
if you're the Seahawks.
Yeah, I mean it's exactly
It
what's
didn't work
it's
in
exactly
one
what's
game.
working for you right now. But I mean I do think that it's a very legitimate second guess for him and Pete. They should have started. They should have been throwing the ball.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, no
at least
doubt.
like you were saying, at least trying to get outside because they were banging their head
And
against
trying
the brick
someone
wall.
other than Chris Carson.
Yeah, right. I mean, well, because they're with Carson, they're just handing it off, pounding against this brick wall again and again and again. Which, not that the Dallas
Penny
defense
had
is,
the only successful run all day.
Yeah.
Like a 15-yard run.
yeah. I mean, at some point, you just have to make a change, whatever your game plan is going in.
And yeah, you also have Russell Wilson, so let him throw the ball a few times.
Yeah, and that's my thing is Wilson comes up with plays once they start going to him. They just
Yeah,
went to
I mean,
him too late.
Lockett and Baldwin were balling.
Yeah, they went to him too late and not often enough, I think, in the game. So
Yeah.
that I think is a very legitimate second guess, but also, again, I think it's hard to complain about this Seahawks season. They had already overachieved. I mean, making the playoffs is basically an overachievement, much less doing it as like a pretty impressive team. They were a good team in the league this year. Me and you both picked them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It was more or less the game I think we and most people expected. It was a possession battle. Both teams are running the ball. Pretty competitive game. I mean, throughout, obviously, neither team. I felt like the difference ultimately was just the Cowboys being a little bit better version of that team.
Yeah.
And then the Seahawks just taking too long to adjust and trying to play a more up-tempo, downfield style of game. Which again, to me, the thing is like it was working and the running was not working. So you got to go with what works.
Yeah. And we did it in Carolina, so I don't know what took us so long in Dallas.
Also,
I guess it was the fact that the score stayed close the whole time. It never really got more than a possession until they made it, I guess, 9 at the end.
Yeah, so the Cowboys had the 14-point fourth quarter was their big scoring quarter, but you have a 10-6 game at the half. The Seahawks lead 14-10 at the end of the third quarter. So yeah, back and forth tractor pull of a pretty physical game. An ankle-breakingly physical game. Who was it?
Alan Hearns.
Alan Hearns. That was gross.
Rest up, Alan.
Yeah,
I'm sure
dude.
you're listening to the podcast.
Get your surgeries done. Don't get infected and ice that up.
He's expected to be ready for the start of next season, apparently.
That'd be pretty legit. Hello, friend of the podcast, girlfriend. That was good.
Another great guest spot.
We do get some good guest spots. Yeah, I mean, you look at I got up the box score here, and the rushing advantage for the Cowboys, 164 yards to 73 on 10 more attempts. But I mean, 5 yards per carry versus 3
Yeah.
for the Seahawks is a big difference.
Yep. No doubt. We can, there was like one good run all game.
Another-
Couldn't bust anything.
Another clean game. I mean, this, it was a good, like we said earlier about this, it was a good week of good defensive football. Like this was a low scoring game throughout relatively, but there's one turnover in the game. The Seahawks had another clean sheet, leading the league in turnover diff this season.
Yep.
And I mean, it was a physical battle. It was a bit more of a tractor pull than I feel like it had to have been. I mean, you just look at the Seahawks offensive stats and it's just, they should have thrown more. They're 18 for 27, which isn't, an excellent percentage, but they throw the ball downfield all the time, and their throw for 230 yards on 18 completions isn't bad. 8.1 yards per attempt. Like, throw the ball. When you're rushing for 3 per attempt and you're throwing for 8.1, that's simple math.
Yep.
And I mean, it's not quite that simple, but each team only allowed 1 sack. It's like This is another, looking at the stats, this is another thing that I remember standing out during the game is both teams did. I mean, the Seahawks are 2 of 13 on third down. And I do remember a lot of like run on first down, run on second down, unmanageable third down situation, or like do whatever and then run on a 3rd and 5 when you're not going to get it. And like just in a lot of individual little moments, I think the team could have been better. They could have made. Mostly, I think the decision making. I think it mostly comes down to play calling in that game for them because they played all right. Play calling and your kicker not being an athlete anymore.
Gotta stop that 3rd and 14.
Yeah, and and Janikowski needs to drink water instead of beer for an off season once or something.
Nah,
dude, that's.
Yeah, we'll probably have to find a new kicker in the offseason. Not because Seabass was terrible, but just he's
mega old, mega fat. Now he's tearing hammies on 40-yard attempts or whatever.
No, it was like
it was
attempt.
It wasn't 63. I think it was like 55. It was long, but it wasn't it wasn't career long. He didn't.
I think it was 57.
He didn't need to tear a hammy on it. That's all I know. But he did. He chose to. I mean, yeah, this is going to be a theme in the review of Wildcard weekend, but this was a pretty even game. I mean, you look at the stats, the possession is relatively even. The Cowboys have an 80-yard advantage in total yards, but the yards per play is 5.8 to 5.6 Seahawks advantage. Like it was a good game. I don't think and also I think it's worth noting the Cowboys, I mean, they're playing well right now. Like I don't think we're probably we'll wait, but I think they have a shot against the Rams. I mean, they're playing very well right now, and I don't.
It's gonna depend on. I don't know. Do you want to wait?
Yeah, let's wait. I don't feel like my point basically is just I don't feel like the Seahawks let us down in that game. More so, I just feel like I wasn't respecting that the Cowboys are they're like the Chargers, which we'll talk a lot more about, are one of the few examples right now of like a pretty complete team. Yeah. Dak's not playing great. Still, he's not great, but and the coaching. I mean, Jason Garrett is a clapper. We all know he's going to be a clapper forever. But like, they're not really making mistakes. They have defensive talent. They have offensive talent. Like, they're playing well. They're a good football team right now, and they got Cowboys Nation behind them. One of the loudest, most annoying fan bases in the entire world.
Thumbs down,
dude. The Cowboys and the Phillies in the playoffs. It's like. You can't look at football social media right now. You read the comments and Big Dick Nick and them boys is all you can read about. It's just, ugh.
We are them boys.
And I mean, I don't know. Do you have anything else to say about the Seahawks?
No, not in regard to that game in particular. I don't know if we really want to get into the whole off season because that would take a while.
Oh, like going forward?
Yeah.
No, let's do that separately. If you want to say anything else about like the season they just had right now, then we can do more Seahawks going forward talk. Going forward, what is going on? All right. Because the next thing is Bears Eagles, which is a transition to the Philly fans, which also. One of the loudest, most obnoxious fan bases in the world. Is that kid yelling that in front of that lady?
No, that was Go Bears! Go. That's another thing we should talk about. The Bears messed up, dude. They should have let the Vikings in the playoffs because they would have handled them.
Should have let the Vikings in. I mean, hey, that's on the table. Everything's on the table. It's the Bears-Eagles game. To me, another like overall pretty good competitive game. It had its moments.
Very good.
Yeah, but
4th and goal score, missed field goal.
Oh, very, very, very entertaining game. I mean, fantastic game to watch. I mean, like I say this because I complain so much about the like quality of play, the execution in the NFL this season. I mean, we got a lot of exciting games, but like what was it, a 52-51 game or whatever it was?
53-51.
Yeah, 53-51. Like that type of stuff just the other team.
That's Chiefs Rams, baby.
I don't think so.
It was.
That-
You can't deny that it is, because it was.
Oh, I know. I mean, I know it was that game. I'm saying I don't think that's like just what happens when you put like two offenses like that against each other now. But that's kind of my point. I feel like for that to happen, you have to some extent, neither team has to be playing defense. Which, in retrospect, by the way, with the whole regular season behind us, neither of those teams can play any defense. So it makes total sense. And the Patriots-Chiefs game
this weekend, won't we?
wasn't the Patriots-Chiefs game was like 42-40 or something like that. So it's like every time the Chiefs play someone with no defense, both teams are just going to score 100 points.
They averaged 38 points given up on defense in their losses this year.
That's terrible. B, kind of terrifying, because it's like you have to score a lot to beat them. That's kind of a problem. But I mean, we can talk about all that later. I do wanna just whisk through these games, wrap them up on a game by game basis, and then talk about matchups going forward for the winners separately. The Bears and Eagles game. The big, headline story coming out is Parkey, obviously. Cody Parkey.
It was tipped, Walk.
Who, dude, it might have been touched.
It was tipped. That's all it takes when you hit the post. It only takes a touch.
I know it was a touch, but, dude,
I'm pretty certain he would have made it if he didn't get
I don't know, dude.
touched.
I think it might have been touched in.
I don't think so.
It was a terrible kick. And by the way, either way, if you get blocked at the line by a guy who jumps on a 40-yarder, it's still your fault.
43.
I don't care. It's still your fault. You're an NFL kicker. Those should be drilling the top of the net from 43 pretty much. And by the way, if you're not, it should be because you're kicking it high and sky kicking it through. It's part at that which, I mean, maybe I'm asking too much of contemporary NFL kickers, but at that level, you can't be getting blocked on chip shots. They're chip shots. Chip it up. Kick the ball up over the line.
Chip shot.
43 is a short enough kick that you should be kicking it high still.
Blair Walsh came up short on a 49-yarder.
Blair Walsh is one of the worst kickers I've ever watched in the NFL.
That's fair.
You can't.
But he still came up short.
A 43-yarder is not. That's not a kick. It's not a kick you need to be driving. Yeah. It's not a kick you should be driving. Well, that's my point.
Distance isn't the issue, but you still have to put leg on a 43-yarder.
Yeah, but I'm saying if you're an NFL kicker, you should be able to put leg on a kick and be able to. I mean, it's the sky kick on kickoffs. You're still kicking it hard, but just don't drive the ball. I put it on Parkey. I don't care if it was touch. The dude hit 6 uprights this year. That's not a coincidence that he hits another one. 6 uprights, Jeremy. That's ridiculous.
He's aiming for the uprights walk.
No, I think he sucks.
Well, if he sucks, he'd miss the uprights walk.
No. I think he's just as likely to hit literally anywhere.
Then why does he keep hitting the uprights?
Well, it's not like he hit the uprights on the majority of his kicks.
No, but he hit him on a statistically improportionate.
Well, yeah, because it's partly coincidentally. And I mean, hey, maybe he's bad enough that he's just like
he hit the upright on 7 kicks.
Okay, right. So maybe he's bad enough that he's just like looking at the yellow and kick it, and he like can't not kick at the bright thing, and he's like, I don't know. Then he's good because he's that accurate. No, dude. I mean, you can't. I don't. That's to me. And the reason why that's why I react like this to like the suggestion that it was tipped, because I just think it
was tipped.
I know it was tipped. But it doesn't matter. It's still his fault. No, it's still his fault. It's absolutely still his fault.
Questionable. Tipped, fact, fault, questionable.
Oh, dude. I mean, if he drills the kick, it doesn't get tipped. There's no way you can touch that from 43 if he hits it right. Kick it up.
Question.
43 yards. The guy wasn't Jeremy. You can watch the play.
I've seen it walk.
I know, but the guy was not high in the air. Like it's not like he kicked it straight into the line. It was I don't. That's why the narrative of we didn't realize that it was blocked. NFL rules that see like all these stories coming out. It was blocked. Who cares? He still missed it. I'll show you the video right now. He drives it right into the line. And they can come out and try and keep Cody Parkey from getting, hated out of the league, but hit up 6 uprights in a season. I don't want you on any team that I'm coaching, that's for sure. Bro, if that is the guy who blocks it is not here. I'm gonna pause it. Just on the and we're just gonna look at the line of scrimmage. I missed it. Oh, here we go.
It's gonna be tough.
No, we're gonna get it right here. It's just one little loading blip after this. This is not good audio. My point is that this guy is he's not abnormally high. There's somebody jumping that high on every single kick. So it has to be the kicker if it gets blocked. Because he's just a tall defensive lineman's worth of hand. He literally, all he does is put his hand up and Parkey kicks it into his hand. That's on the kicker. I say this as someone who has had a field goal hit me in the back of the head. It's quite possible to kick the ball too low. Makes it much more blockable. And similarly, again, you can adjust up, and it's 43 yards, which I get. It's the end of the game and everything. I'm not saying it's easy to be a kicker, but bang the kick home, dude. It's your whole job. Which is this? I know it's a lame narrative. That's what we sit here and say every time a kicker misses. But dude, seriously, they have one job. They literally have one job. Why can't they do it?
It's a tough job. Why?
It's
why
hard.
Don't you do it?
It's
Walk?
not that hard because
Why don't you do it, Walk?
I should have. I regret not.
It's not too late.
No, it is, but it's not.
It's not.
Jeremy, it's not that hard. If you can grab any rugby player or Australian soccer player or whatever, that's not. I mean, anyone who's good at kicking a ball, pretty much, can be grabbed, taught 4 years in a D1 school, and then they're an NFL kicker.
Then why don't they do it?
They do. Those guys
Then
aren't good enough. That's what I'm saying. There should be actual, it's a specialist position. We just don't.
No one grows up wanting to be a kicker.
Come on, youth out there, the young kids listening to this.
Grow up wanting to be kickers.
We need you to kick for a career. And by the way, you're getting a D1 scholarship. If you can make a 45-yard field goal, you can go to, I don't know, choose whatever state you're in and put Eastern, Central, or Western or whatever in front of it. You can play for them. University. Western blank state university, you can play kicker for them.
Blank state, dude.
If you can make a 45, 50-yard field goal, which, by the way, I had a soccer player friend in high school who moved to the U.S. from Korea in 8th grade, literally having basically never seen American football. Our sophomore year, trotted out to his first football practice and nailed a 55-yarder. Which, no contact, I mean, no, with a kickoff run up. But I'm saying, you can kick field goals, dude. It's not come on, dude. Be a specialist. Guys, this is my point. You can kick field goals. Get good at kicking stuff. Kick balls. It's not, there shouldn't be this stigma over being a kicker. You just need to do it right. And yeah, you're going to get yelled at by people like me and called a dummy and incompetent if you do it wrong. But you have one job, so do it right. Just be a good specialist. Shut up. The beat, dude. Every week. When did we do a podcast that short?
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, that's too. Dude, we gotta stop. This is gonna be a 3-hour
The double doink.
The double doink. That's enough double doink.
We literally haven't discussed anything else about that game.
I know. That's what I'm saying right now. We need to get to. So the main takeaways for me was basically the quarterback play, and also the fact that the Eagles are getting scarier on a week-by-week basis. It's at this point,
big dick.
A rematch in the Super Bowl, and I am going to be very uncomfortable. Very uncomfortable.
Fly, Eagles, fly.
Especially because it will really hurt me if they lose 2 years in a row
to big dick
Nick Foles, dude.
To big dick Nick.
On the other side, Trubisky was good. especially at the end. And he's promising to me. He's definitely not there yet. And by there, I mean, like, you know, he's obviously not elite, but I wouldn't even consider him like right now he's average. But I do think the kid still Trubisky still has legit potential as a winner and a legit quarterback. And I mean, the arm talent he can throw the ball for sure. Hardcore.
Hard thrower of the ball, for sure.
The other thing, I mean, that game had fun stories all over. We had our first replay cluster of the playoffs.
Oh yeah.
Which actually wasn't a cluster, correct call at the end of the day.
Weird rule.
But a cluster of a rule. So I do want to touch on that, the NFL's clear recovery rule.
Dude, this could be such a long podcast
and the press,
if we go into all
okay, we don't have to, okay, you're right, you're right.
We have to talk about all the other games this
You're
week.
right, okay, so we can stick to, I'm gonna mark in pencil all the stuff that I do want to talk about going forward and make a list afterwards.
How is that legible?
It's just a pencil mark. It's the only pencil mark on the page.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm just going to make...
you were writing a word.
No, I just scribbled. I mean, that's pretty much like half the words on the page, but no, I'm just going to make notes of stuff that we don't have time to get to, and then we'll add it on.
That's right. We're coming at you 5 days a week from now on.
No. Just like next week.
5 days a week.
No, because next week, actually, and we have a bye week. We'll have a bye week, the Super Bowl, and we can talk about all this. We'll have an auxiliary NFL podcast, maybe. We'll see.
Holiday special.
You're right, though. Let's bang through them, Jeremy. So that's it for the NFC. Eagles moving on. The top defense in the league, right?
Yep. Yardage,
I believe.
They were the number one overall
in scoring as well.
I think they were number one in pretty much everything. Yeah.
Yeah, Bears fall. Good team going forward. I like the Bears' future right now between Nagy and Trubisky, the defensive talent. They look like they have a future. They're one of the several teams I think that are going to be pretty watchable going forward in the next couple of years.
Yeah.
Why is this happening? Whatever. On the AFC side, Wildcard weekend, Colts Texans, which was really the only semi-stinker game of the weekend, which, I mean, it sort of got interesting at the end, right?
Yeah, I mean, the Texans were still down 2 touchdowns and driving, but...
Yeah. I mean, yeah, so to me, that game, yes, good win for the Colts, I would say, but I also would say that the Texans are playoff pants poopers. Serial pants poopers in the playoffs, and they continue to poop their pants. I think they pooped their pants again.
Well, the Colts defense did everything.
Well,
right.
So look, I know the Colts did play a good game, and I don't want to take that away from them, but I mean, they went up 14-0 in the first 10 minutes and then didn't score again until the fourth quarter. And I honestly think the Texans quit pretty much at halftime when they failed to score. And
no, I think it was 21-0 like the whole game.
It might have been 21-0 at half, actually. But I know,
yeah, not by the first quarter, but yeah.
Yeah, maybe the Colts did score in the second quarter, but I mean, even so, that goes to my point that Houston quit once they went down 14-0, 100%. Like, their body language was garbage as a team. I mean, all of them. You're looking at their defense on the sideline. You got their defensive line. I
don't know about that.
No, yeah, the whole middle of that game they quit 100%. They didn't start playing again until late in the third quarter. No, you can go back. We can go. That's another one. We can go back and watch. But I can show you probably 10 minutes total of footage of J.J. Watt and McKinney and all these Texans defensive big player guys sitting on the sideline with the breathing hard blank face on. Just no energy, no. DeAndre Hopkins leaves the game, maybe hurt, maybe quitting. I mean,
no, he just went to the locker room with 1.5 minutes left in the half.
Yeah, that looked like a quit to me.
I think he's just a guy who's been banged up all season.
It's the playoffs, man. Well,
he didn't miss a snap. His defense was on that field that whole time.
No, didn't he go off during their last possession when they were going for the field goal?
No, I don't think so.
I thought he went off during that.
No, I don't think so.
Anyway, I was not paying that much attention to that game, but what I did see, everything that I saw was indicative of another Texans pants pooping and the team that quit that's never very well prepared for playoff games. And yeah, I mean,
I just don't think they have the offensive talent. Deshaun Watson can't run. I mean, Andrew Luck can make a one wide receiver scheme work because he's amazing, but Deshaun Watson can't run the same kind of pinpoint offense that Andrew Luck can. And
well, yeah, I mean, I don't think Watson's good enough, period.
I think he can win games, but I think he needs
I don't think he can win playoff games.
I think he needs free-form plays.
I don't know if you can win. I don't think he's good enough to win you playoff games with free-form plays.
I think he can.
I don't know. I mean, he was not good in that game, period.
He was.
You can talk about offensive talent,
also getting pressured on every other snap.
You can talk about offensive talent, but that's not an excuse for putting balls in the dirt with a clean pocket, which he did in that game.
He did it a couple times.
And also he's throwing brutal picks still sometimes. I mean, I'm pretty sure his one pick in that game was bad. I don't remember, but no, I think he threw his one pick in that game pretty much into quadruple coverage. And I mean, he got fooled.
I think I remember that.
But it was a brutal pick in the first half. And I mean, I stand by, they quit. The Texans quit for most of that game. I mean, it's just, wow. They got to the red zone twice. So once at the end of the first half when they went for it and didn't get it, and then at the end of the game, basically. I mean, they were not in that game at any point. And I mean, I guess you can credit it to the Colts. Maybe I'm underselling, a dominant Colts defense. I saw missed opportunities from the Texans, and there's been too many times where I've seen them just not show up. I mean, honestly, the thing for me is I feel like if they had somehow won this game and then this was this week's game and it was the Texans coming into Foxborough, the Patriots would have put, 35-7 on them. It's what happens every year to the Texans in the playoffs.
Yeah,
somebody is going to dominate them. Part of the reason why I didn't focus in on that game was because that was the game that I turned on and I saw, one of these teams is not trying to play today. And I just wasn't, trying to watch a crappy football game regardless of the playoffs. And it ended up, again, sort of getting interesting at the end. And maybe Indianapolis made it a crappy game through their defensive ability, which, what did you say? I mean, what did you say about their defensive ranking this year? They're up there as well for them. For sure.
I don't know what they finished as. Maybe 6th? Not 6th, but not saying good. I don't know where they finished.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, Deshaun Watson was getting pressured, and he couldn't do anything.
Okay, so they might have been, I don't care what they were 23rd in scoring defense.
Well, he also got they weren't very good the first half of the season.
I know, but still, 23rd in scoring defense in the AFC South is not ideal, regardless of what which I mean, the Patriots are, I have this reversed. These are the worst. Okay, that makes more sense. I was like, wait a minute, what are all these teams doing all the way? They had the 10th. Well, yeah, I guess the reverse makes sense. They had the 10th scoring defense. Not as bad. And I mean, they're, a point behind the Patriots, a point behind the Jaguars, Texans, Cowboys, like good defenses. So there is a very legitimate chance that I'm underselling that. I guess it's always a little bit of both. It has to be a little bit of both. And the offensive talent thing is something that I had left to the side, but I mean, to me, that's just like an explanation of Houston not being good enough. At the end of the day, that's just my
I don't
thing.
think they were this year.
I just don't think Houston's good enough, whether it's coaching, not showing up, talent, all the above. Well, all of the above, really.
I think it's mostly just offensive playmakers. They literally have no one besides DeAndre Hopkins.
But I don't like their defense either, really, though. I mean, I know they have...
They were the top 10 defense in the league,
well,
I think.
here's the problem, though, is all the AFC South teams basically are top 10.
Fair.
I mean...
But, they have a good pass rush. They have solid defensive backs.
Yeah.
They don't have the best linebackers, but they have a better than average defense.
Yeah, better than average is fair for sure. I don't think they're a team they're not winning any playoff games with that defense. And the offense hasn't been good enough. And the coaching you have to question the coaching at this point, I think. He's Harden. O'Brien has just proven that at this point he's not going to win them any games. It's like a battle for him not to lose you a playoff game now. Because there's too many times. I put it on a coach when a team doesn't show up, and there's too many times in the playoffs where they just get dominated. And you shouldn't get dominated in the playoffs in the NFL. Like, pretty much ever. It's usually, it takes something greater. Last wildcard game, and interesting to us as a preview for this weekend's Patriots matchup is Chargers-Ravens. To me, this is another game where it was partly an impressive example of a complete team in the Chargers and partly just seeing a one-sided Baltimore team with a quarterback who's not ready.
They came back.
But that to me, got
the ball back down 5 with like a minute left.
Maybe this is my agenda, but I will say Lamar Jackson is definitely not ready. And B, they should have went to Joe Flacco way earlier in the game, regardless of how well Lamar Jackson played at the end of the game. They needed to shake things up way early on. It was painfully obvious. And Jackson, I'm not going to say Jackson lost them the game in the first half, but he made it a lot harder for them to win. The ball security with that kid, he's not going to have a career if he doesn't work that part out because he needs to take care of the ball. He needs to take care of himself, which, he's a rookie and they ran him a lot. And it's like he's got time to learn all this type of stuff, but in the game, they had, let's see. Yeah, they lost the turnover battle 3-1. And his pick was not great. His fumble was bad.
2 fumbles.
Oh, he had both of their fumbles.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. One at the end of the game, too.
Oh, yeah. That's right. But the 2 first half turnovers, killer for them in this game. That's the thing to me is like, at the end of the third quarter, it's, 3-12, but didn't the Chargers not score a touchdown? It was 4 field goals, right? I'm pretty sure it was 4 field goals. Sure. I think the Chargers had 4 field goals, like 2 field goals each in the first 2 quarters. There was very easily also, by the way, and the Melvin Gordon play, which very easily could have been ruled a touchdown for the Ravens.
Yeah.
And instead San Diego ends up getting points out of it.
That was the right call, but
I think it could have gone either way, but I'm not going to argue against it. And I'm just saying this game, I feel like this game could have easily gone either way, and I don't think it just came just because of the fourth quarter. I actually think the fourth quarter started off as just kind of some garbage time plays, and then the Chargers kind of let it get a little bit out of control. Obviously, this game shouldn't have ended with them, within a touchdown of losing it, and coming pretty close. I will say the Chargers. This is a different box score than I was looking at earlier. the Chargers had, or depending on how you look at it, Lamar Jackson, again, it's a little of both in this case. The Chargers had 7 sacks. I mean, their pass rush for the Patriots matchup this weekend, that's probably the most important matchup, I think, in the game is going to be Bosa and Ingram versus Trent Brown and Marcus Cannon.
I think it's going to be the Chargers rushing attack versus the Patriots linebackers.
I don't know. I don't even know that that's the matchup because the Pats are probably only going to play 1 or 2 linebackers all day. I mean, they won't play more than 2. I would be surprised. I mean, they'll probably only have 4 linebackers active for the game. It's going to be because they're gonna have to, the Patriots' first concern tomorrow. I don't think they're gonna be, and everything goes out the window if the Chargers come out and go up. So it's freezing temperatures forecasted, which is gonna, I think, affect both teams equally. Because I don't think the Chargers.
I think it helps New England.
I mean, maybe a little bit. I think the Chargers are built better to play in that weather, so I think it balances out.
I think they're built equally to play in that weather, and I think the Chargers are from San Diego or from Los Angeles.
They're definitely from San Diego / Los Angeles, but I just the weather. I don't know. It will affect the Chargers more than the Patriots. Yeah, I just think the Chargers. They have a little bit better defense to fall back on to me if it starts getting sloppy, which I don't think it's going to. 29 degrees and clear forecasted last I checked, so you can throw, provided it's not windy. It is that's cold enough that it'll affect the game, but to me it's like if it's a clear just below freezing day, it's not like, guys are going to not be taking hits and have frozen hands and whatnot. So I don't know. It hasn't been the case thus far in the playoffs, but my gut on this game, I don't feel like either team is going to stay out of the 20s. And I also do feel like this one could go badly for either team. I feel like if one team jumps out in the first half, there's a very real chance that whoever, takes a lead might end up winning this thing 28-14, 31-14 type of game where either team can win going away. So I guess let's it's time to move on to that game for sure. I think this is a really interesting game from a matchup perspective, actually, because you have the pass rush, basically the front matchups both ways are very interesting. The line play on both sides, there's the matchups on the outside for the Chargers defensively with Bosa and Ingram, and the Patriots have had pretty consistently good tackle play this season, so that's going to be really interesting. And then on the other side of things, the Chargers are sort of similarly, their strengths have been the outside of their line, which is also where the strength of the Patriots front is. So we'll see if either team moves people around. I heard on 98.5 The Sports Hub, the Boston FM station, Greg Bedard, who's a journalist I've mentioned on the podcast many times and someone who pays some attention to line play, a lot. I trust him when it comes to that type of stuff. And he says the Chargers guards are actually a legit weakness for the team. And basically all of the pass blocking problems they've had this season, anytime they've had them, has been those two guys. So we'll see if the Patriots try and exploit that. Both teams also have pretty strong defensive backfields, and the coverage matchups are really interesting similarly. The Chargers their defensive backfield, they're going to have DBs covering everyone because they're not playing linebackers anymore, apparently, which is cool. And I actually think I think the Chargers seem like they're going to come in and it's going to be the coach and quarterback matchup is going to be a wash almost this week. Not Belichick versus Anthony Lynn, necessarily, but the staffs. The Chargers they're tough. They execute for the most part. They seem like a well-coached team to me. The stuff last weekend with all the defensive backs out of them in that Baltimore game, which is partly an adjustment to Lamar Jackson and challenging him to run around versus all that speed, but they have a lot of defensive backs that can play on that team also.
Yep.
And they're, some of those guys, they're DBs, but like these guys can thump.
A's expect Murray to enter NFL draft.
Really?
That's what it just said.
Is he just going to get drafted for the heck of it and then still go to the MLB?
Who knows?
I hope so.
Just to spite some team.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. Draft me,
Yeah.
but I never played.
Well, he could just throw his hat in the ring and see what the situation is and then bail. Yeah, I mean this one is tough. I mean, I think it's time for our first pick of the show, and I am picking the Pats. But it's loyalty's sake. To me, this one, my mind can't pick it, so I'm going with the heart because I don't know, dude. I really think this game can go either way.
Yeah, I agree. It's really probably the closest game of the weekend, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I really have a tough time picking this game. I think what could be crucial is the Chargers are activating Hunter Henry this week.
Right. I meant to mention that, and that's that is another the matchup battle I'm talking about. He throws a wrench in the Patriots side of that because their DBs versus San Diego wide receivers San Diego has great wide receivers. The Patriots defensive backs have been probably the strength of the defense this year, though. And I mean,
Pro Football Focus ranked them as the number 1 defensive backfield this year.
Yeah, I mean, so I don't put a ton of stock in PFF rankings and stuff like that, but at the same time, it is indicative of they're a good defensive backfield for sure. Like you can't be a bad one and have that ranking. And then also on the eye test, it's just they've got a lot of guys who have been playing in that system together for a lot of years at this point. I mean, it's been McCourty and Chung have been together at safety for almost a decade. Duron Harmon's been there for 5 years in the same system. I mean, Gilmore is getting that. They've got all these guys who are maybe with the exception of Gilmore, not great on an individual basis, but I think a good, smart defensive backfield that can actually match up with those Chargers receivers and, again, make that part interesting and competitive, something to watch in the game. Hunter Henry throws a wrench in that because, I mean, you go with Chung. That's the thing. The Patriots go with Chung. But what's the second tight end there? Isn't he pretty good? Hasn't that guy been contributing?
Antonio Gates, the future Hall of Famer.
Yeah, he's pretty good. Yeah.
I mean, he's not so great anymore, but...
No, he's still a contributor, though.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a good second tight end. He's better than Jacob Hollister for the Patriots. I mean, he's probably better than Gronk right now. That's maybe a bit strong. I mean, he had some big plays for them last week, though. No, Henry is big. I mean, Henry probably gets Chung, and Chung can't really match up with any of the other wide receivers, but still, that Gordon and Eckler can catch the ball to some extent, so there's a lot to worry about with the Chargers offense for sure. Especially if Hunter Henry can come back and make an impact, which I also do think. I mean, what is it, 6 or 8 months off an ACL or whatever it is? It's like, can the guy practice for 5 days, come in and, which at the same time, it's like, 1 or 2 third down catches can be the difference in this game 100%. So
yeah, well,
it's good to have him.
I doubt learning the system was the issue.
No, it's not learning the system. I just mean, any 8 months off game shape is pretty impressive to come in and, like I almost think it's nearly impossible that he comes in and has like a big, playing 3 snaps, playing 3 snaps on every set of downs throughout the game, 12 target type of game. Like that's remarkable if that's his first game. I mean, Adrian Peterson, not legend, but you remember that type of stuff, which we'll see. I mean, it's crazy. It's like almost every year one of these guys amazes you with the recoveries these days and the types of injuries they can come back from.
Dr. James Andrews, dude.
I was looking at, I do want to mention on the Patriots-Chargers game.
Go walk.
I know, dude, I know. But I do want to say that it is the like their regular season stats are very close. These two teams are really comparable. The Patriots do play in the AFC East though, which skews them quite a bit. But I mean, the Patriots were right ahead of the Chargers in a lot of these stats, and I think the Chargers were realistically a slightly better regular season team. So I think with the AFC East skewing, it's like these are close teams. It's the 4th and 6th scoring offense, less than 1 point difference between them, 0.4 points difference between them. The 7th and 8th scoring defenses, 0.3 point difference between them. One thing that is going to be a factor, I think, is if Phil Riv gets hot-headed and makes a couple dumb mistakes. I think this is going to be a close game. Comes down to, whatever.
Phil Riv don't like the cold.
Phil Riv, yeah. I mean, we'll see about that. And the Chargers, the thing I was going to say is that I found today the Chargers are +1 on the season in turnover differential, that's not a good number. And they can't really, they can, but it's going to be very tough to lose that battle to the Patriots in Foxborough in that kind of weather and still win the game. Okay. I didn't really write down talking points for the other games, but we can do picks and some quick analysis. Get rolling anyway. Really the first chronologically, the Saturday AFC game.
I don't think I made my pick for the Patriots Chargers.
Oh yeah, you didn't even make your pick.
I picked the Patriots to make it the AFC Championship, so I'm going to say the Patriots, but it really is a flip of the coin.
Yeah, this is a pick'em game. I mean, dude, we went 2-2 last week, and it's tough this year. This is a tough one. But, yeah, it's home field, resume, everything. You got to lean Patriots, but that's a total 50-50. The Saturday AFC game, Indy, Kansas City. Do you think the Colts have a chance going in there?
Oh, I definitely think they have a chance.
Okay, so
I wouldn't.
Do you think they have a puncher's chance, or are you
a good chance?
You're thinking the Colts are.
I'm saying
you're on upset watch.
Oh, totally.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I'm gonna pick the Colts, but it's real close.
So, my instinct is to say, yeah. When I think about it, Andrew Luck, Pat Mahomes, two of the best offenses in the league. We just talked about how Kansas City gets into these shootouts. And then my next thought is, we also just talked about how the Colts have a pretty good defense. And Kansas City does not, period. So it's very real. I mean, to me, it's almost it's weird because I'm like looking across the board and I might pick 3 upsets outside the Patriots game. The way the momentum's going, when you look at the matchup, the
Patriots Colts AFC Championship.
It could be. The X factor to me is Arrowhead, because that's still a tough place to play.
Not according to their playoff record.
Well, and not necessarily according to all the stats, but I just I don't know. I'll be impressed if Indy does win it. All right, are you picking the Colts?
No.
Yeah, I got to pick the Chiefs. That's what I'm saying.
Barely.
Just barely though, for sure. But I lean Chiefs. The Colts, they do have a defense. I can't deny them that. Those rookies can ball. They've been accumulating some players. They seem like actually a good team.
They have $109 million in 9 draft picks next season.
That's legit. So they're a good team getting better, and it seems like they actually might have lucked out, missing out on Josh McDaniels.
How?
Double lucked out, missing out on Josh McDaniels. Well, and that Andrew Luck's career is going to be okay. Which that's you know what, good for the Colts, because that sucked, losing Andrew Luck and losing one of the watchable good teams in the NFL. And now you just you add Luck and a new coach and a tiny bit of rookie. They barely added any defensive talent to change everything. They added that one guard, two linemen, and their whole team is different. And I want more teams like the Colts in the NFL ultimately, especially now that I've been sated in terms of Patriot wins and I'm starting to just want some good football to watch. But yeah, I'm going Chiefs too. The talent on the offense is still ridiculous, and I just have this image in my head of Patrick Mahomes putting up 38 points in this game. I mean, I think it might turn into a shootout regardless of the Colts defense.
The Colts could put up 38 points.
They could, but I could see it being a 41-38 game. That's just what I'm saying. I could see this one spiraling out of control and both teams just starting to score touchdowns. I mean, I don't know. This is an interesting weekend coming up here. I actually like all the matchups this weekend as well.
Weekend of football, dude.
Well, yeah, that's fair. The other variable in the Kansas City Indy game that we haven't mentioned is Andy Reid, because he might Andy Reid mega walrus poop, and then that's game. So I'm not going to pick that to happen this week, but I will be surprised if they go 2 consecutive weeks without it happening. And then it's also possible that he calls terrible timeouts or doesn't call timeouts and they still win. He could go half Andy Reid, but anyway, we got unanimous Pats Chiefs. Are we going to be unanimous again this week?
I don't know.
Okay.
Cowboys Rams,
the Saturday NFC game.
Gurley is expected to be back and chilling.
Okay, so that's big for the Rams, obviously.
It's everything.
It is basically everything offensively for them at this point. I'm still kind of leaning Dallas in this one.
I'm picking the Rams with Gurley.
I think I'm going to go Dallas, actually, in this game.
You're putting the boys in the NFC Championship walk?
I think
Gross.
so.
Gross.
I don't like it. I just look at the
Eagles, Cowboys.
The Seahawks.
The worst division in football all year. If
both of them end up in the NFC, well, no, because I'm still picking the Saints. Spoiler alert.
Dun, dun, dun. But Big Dick Nick's gonna win regardless of who you pick.
No. I'm picking the Saints.
But Big Dick Nick's gonna win.
Don't stop. I don't think so.
Big Dick Nick.
I don't think so.
Big Dick Nick.
I don't want to hear that anymore.
Dick Nick.
I'm deleting Facebook from my phone. I think this is a pretty good matchup for the Cowboys again. I mean, granted, the only advantage that the Rams have defensively is on the interior. So, maybe they can't rely on the run, which means it would be game over for them. I might be rescinding my pick.
You've done what you've done.
No, I didn't write it down yet. Yeah, I'm going to pick the Rams, actually. I can't see the Cowboys scoring enough points the more I think about it. But then I come back to the fact that the Cowboys defense against the Seahawks, I mean, Russell Wilson and those Seahawks receivers at this point, the Seahawks passing game when they throw it is as good as the Rams. They didn't throw it, which the Rams probably will, and they'll definitely do it in a more imaginative way more often. But I don't know. I look at the Gurley coming back, and I look at the linebackers of the Cowboys and their athletic front, and I think that might be partly neutralized. But I don't know. Maybe I'm just getting caught up in the boys' hype from reading toxic Facebook comments.
No, I mean, their defense matches up with the Cowboys well. I mean, I like their ability.
Rams.
Yeah, I mean, I like their ability to contain Gurley, and I like their ability to shut down the Rams wide receivers, and I don't think they're going to be particularly susceptible to the play action. So I think they do match up well in that regard, but I just don't think they're going to be able to score enough points.
Yeah, I mean, I try to talk myself into it, but the offense and the coach is, I mean, between Dak and the Clapper, it's just hard. I can't get on board. I mean, and again, I said earlier, Dak's been playing pretty well, but I don't, yeah. You talk me out of it. All right. I'm going Rams, and Jeremy is going Rams. Sunday's NFC game, Jeremy. BDN versus BDB. Saints, Eagles.
I mean, I gotta pick
In the Superdome.
Saints,
Yeah, you got to pick the Saints.
but-
Okay, you
Big
said
Dick
it.
Nick, dude.
Nope, you said it.
But
We're
Big
picking the
Dick
Saints. We're
Put
unanimous
Saints-
again.
Put Saints parentheses.
We're
Big Dick
unanimous,
Nick.
and we picked all favorites.
Put Saints parentheses Big Dick Nick.
So Saints are going to win, and Nick Foles wins.
Yeah. He always wins.
No, at some point his deal with the devil will run out.
Nope.
And yeah, I mean, I said it earlier. The Eagles are getting scarier by the week. I think the Saints are the best team in the NFC. And I think they have the best coach and quarterback left in the NFC. And I mean, I have a hard time imagining Drew Brees not putting up 30 points in this game. And I have a hard time. No, I can totally see Nick Foles putting up 30 points in the game. I just have a hard time imagining Drew Brees getting outscored in this game. In that building.
Well, I think the Saints are going to be able to take advantage of the Eagles' lack of depth and experience at cornerback.
Oh, I mean, that one guy, number 39 or 29 or whatever last
Yeah.
week, they literally just threw at him every play in the second half, and it worked every time.
Smart.
Yeah, I mean, that guy, yeah. I mean, I honestly think outside of their line, basically, that most of that defense is a question mark to me. Which, I mean,
The Eagles are going to have to get a huge pass rush if they want to do anything.
Well, yes. Yeah. I mean, that's the question. And that's the thing that I keep coming back to in my head is this like scary, chaotic game where Breeze gets sacked 4 times on big plays. Breeze throws a pick or two. Nick Foles goes off. That's the thing I come back to, though, is like, I think for the Eagles to win this game, they need a full Nick Foles go off. Like, they need a 350-yard, 3-tud, no-pick game out of Nick Foles, which they might get, because that's what he does, I guess.
Because he's got a big dick.
It doesn't translate, but I also, yeah, I think there's more ways the Saints can win this game. They're a better all-around team despite this ridiculous Eagles momentum. ESPN FPI says 81% chance for the Saints.
That's hefty.
That's pretty hefty for ESPN FPI, dude.
BDN.
Gurley's limited today.
BDN.
No,
BDN.
stop, dude. Stop
BDN.
BDNing. Stop BDNing. Are you picking the Saints?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Saints and Big Dick Nick. All right, dude, we're through all our picks. That's all we got on the list. We're off the record. Partycast?
Me and Tiger Woods spent a weekend in Vegas together.
Partycast?
Horse racing.
Partycast faster.
No.
Partycast.
Phil
All right, I'm turning off the
Rivers,
lights. Partycast.
LeBron James and Phil Rivers. Melvin Gordon. Who else? Joey Bosa. Oh, they're talking about the Patriots on Sports Center walk. Oh, jeez. The Giants. Oh my God. Did you hear that walk? AT&T Ballpark is renamed Oracle Stadium.